Titles are a difficult thing, aren't they? Particularly when you look at where we are now, currently with, of course, the former royals known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So many people get very offended by the fact that they seemingly are trading on their titles as and when it suits them. In fact, I'm sure, and I'll put myself out there and say this, that they know exactly how much it antagonises people. Of course, it's their right. They were given those titles by our late and wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, but even she could never have foreseen exactly how much they were going to be exploited. One might say, of course, that our recent video about the Duke and Duchess of Windsor did the same thing. They had a very hedonistic life for many years, and many people around the world were still very keen to meet a former king of England. It was that powerful and still remains so today. But now there's a huge problem, well, some might suggest a very much dividing problem over here, and many also are wondering exactly how this will play out with the anti-monarchists about new titles and if they ever should really be given. Let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're all right, whatever you're doing. You are all right, aren't you? Yes. I know somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, Neil, thank you for asking if we're okay." It's important actually, isn't it, to check in with each other, because we don't always wake up feeling with an abundance of joy, do we? No, it takes me a couple of coffees. Well, more than that, yes, Oh, yeah, well, you just try and get it together, don't you? By the time, are you like me? By the time you've got it together and you start to feel slightly human, you suddenly have to get ready to go to bed again. You think, hey, what? Why am I? And then if you don't go to bed on time, you wake up late, you feel terrible, and the whole circle starts again. You see? You're the same, aren't you? Then you've got to go through taking all your things, your cod liver oil, anything else you've got to take, you know what I mean? Oh, it's a cycle, isn't it? Now, it's a cycle, of course, of royal titles. There's no two ways about it. What I find fascinating is when you look through history, they have been really interesting titles for certain members of the British monarchy, and they were far more powerful. I don't know if you realise this, but over here in the United Kingdom, there are so many people that have titles, Duke and Duchesses, live in very big stately homes, and you kind of think, wow, didn't know that. But again, it's their right, it's their world, as it were. A couple of people, though, that apparently could be bestowed titles, according to the royal rumour, are none other than Michael and Carol Middleton. Now, the story goes that apparently His Majesty the King has been very impressed with the way that they've held court, if you like, over the length of period that they've now been inside the British monarchy. And in particular, Carol being a great support to our late and wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. A lot of people didn't see that. I do admire the way that the Middletons do, count themselves in public, as it were. They're very, very respectful, keep a good distance. And a lot of people will say, but Neil, the company went bust owing thousands of pounds. That's a personal thing. That's not about a family thing, is it? Whatever they do with that, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, clearly they had some ill advice, clearly they had a problem with their business, but really is that anything to do with the matter in hand? Now, apparently His Majesty the King, as I say, is looking into this, but I've been told that the Middletons are not really that bothered, and I don't mean that in a cruel way, but I think they quite like their world, their life that they're in. Now, this apparently people are saying would mean that they would have to undertake certain royal duties on behalf of senior members of the British monarchy. That may happen, may not. But either way, right now, this is making a very big case for the Republicans, who want, of course, to diminish and remove the British monarchy by saying, well, this is just giving titles out for titles' sake. And the reason why I bring this up is I'd love to know what you in our community, our chums, think about this, because I can see two sides. It would be lovely, and what an honour. But on the other side of the coin, if you've got the perfect life now and you're quite happy with where it's going, do you want to change it? And I don't mean this rudely, but at that particular year, in the years that you are, it's a little bit like Queen Camilla, working harder than ever at 76. Didn't plan that, but that's a duty. Now, would the Middletons want that? Should they be given titles? As ever, do let me know what you think in the comments below. And as ever, please do like and share and be respectful. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.